Well, hi everyone. This is Jeff, and today I'm going to be talking about inner patterns that are related to samskaras. There are both negative and positive samskaras. These are Buddhist and also Hindu related concept, samskara. Um, Patterns are also related to pattern recognition and pattern matching, but I'm going to be focusing on the elements of some elemental patterns in our mind that we all deal with at times, that I've certainly have dealt with. I'm a teacher and a guide, but what's most important is I'm a direct experience person having to do with inner energetics. And if my experience, I'm going deeper in my meditation practice and mindfulness practice and various other elements of my life. If I can engage with deeper energetics, I learn something about that, and I'm excited about it. And if that can come across in the video, then it potentially could be helpful to other people. The patterns that going to be talking about. Well, I also want to mention that when I do these presentations, these talks, it is definitely a learning experience for me. And I do talk extemporaneously. I learned this or noticed this, observed this about my own teacher, uh, Dr. Frederick Lenz, also known as Rama, who is no longer here, has transitioned uh, many years ago. Uh, but I was so inspired that when he would talk to his students, to to me, in the meditation halls and in the desert type settings and in business settings, I noticed and felt the power, the deep kind of energy. When I mention power, I'm always talking about a very deep, vibrant, positive type power that actually is very transformative. So I really paid attention to that anytime I had a chance to interface with him. And that type of power from him gets infused in his students, got infused with me if I was open to it, if his students were open to it. And it changed me in some very deep elemental ways. I've noticed I'm always observing what these changes and transformations that continually are happening if I pay attention and I'm really working my self-discovery practice, uh, what I can do with it. I'm a very, like many of you out there, I have my own creative type of way of doing things, and I enjoy it. So when I give these presentations, which I'm always trying to improve on, it's a Kaizen type process, which is a Japanese concept of incremental improvement. So when I review these videos later before I release them, and also compare them to all other previous videos I give, and I try to learn something so that I can always improve on my presentation style and the type of deeper energy that comes across, because it's that deeper energy that has to do with my connection with one of these higher teachers, such as such as my teacher. There are, of course, others out there that you'll come across, and it's always very fascinating and exciting to be around that type of deep energy and knowledge, because it's conveyed. It can be transferred to the person engaging with that kind of energy, has been transferred to me to whatever extent. I'm always looking at what that extent might be. But what uh, is it that you, in the audience, the participant who's looking at this video, what is coming across to you, and what are you open to a certain extent, in a balanced way, in a safe way, that would be potentially helpful to you and actually help elicit a type of transformation, an inner type of transformation having to do with inner energetics, a deep type of vibrant energy that also has knowledge associated with it. And I've been dealing with for many years in my practice and also as a teacher. So, if I do my job correctly and I stay calm and let go to extent, which is something I'm sure we're all working on in various ways at times, uh, that this deeper kind of energy and knowledge potentially can come across more. It also is very helpful to me too, so that I can continue to give and present creative and interesting, unique types of videos of things that I'm discovering. I'm very big on self-discovery. And each of us can make amazing discoveries, which really are endless, and make them quite unique to the way that we perceive, which has to do with a pattern. So I'm going to get back to this pattern um, for instance, that I've been dealing with. There's patterns within ourselves that have to do with the way we conceive of ourselves, the images that we have of ourselves and others. Um, I'm suggesting that a samskara in particular, like a type of negative type pattern per se, I think we all have aspects of this, and the idea is to be able to neutralize with higher um, vibrant, bright energy to be able to break up these patterns. First of all, to actually observe them and notice them, these images, these patterns that can be quite limiting and can actually interfere or be a type of obstacle in our meditation practice and also in our mindfulness practice and going deeper and be able to get into a more deeper type of center and balance that where there's very bright, happy energy there, and that we can, that makes really life quite exciting and is a big part of life. So when I'm talking about these patterns, I do want to mention that I'm not giving any psychological or medical advice or anything like that. This is all about inner energetics that we access in our self-discovery practice, which two main components of that practice is meditation practice and mindfulness practice, among many other components too, that all come into play to create a type of an alignment that we have. We get configured in a particular way as we get more centered and more balanced in our practice. That's can lead to all sorts of really wonderful things. But when I mention about neutralizing these patterns, I'm talking about by using inner energy that we access as we go deeper in our practice. It's a type of light, type of, it has a kind of power to it that not only is it helpful in observing, it's an active type of observing, and noticing these patterns, the elements of it, the deeper types of intricacies of the patterns. These patterns having to do uh, with how we actually limit ourselves. It has to do how we're kind of bound in to particular thought structures and images of ourselves and others, as I mentioned previously. And it it can be frustrating. I've been dealing with this for a long time, looking at these patterns, and have made interesting progress in eliminating as much as possible or neutralizing as much as possible these types of patterns I'm talking about. That's so that they're not repressed, but they sort of, after a while, kind of fade away more into the background so that our foreground, more of what we're focusing on higher aspects of life, of reality, the higher dimensions, the things that we can actually access more and more as these limitations that are kind of holding us back, kind of binding us in some way to more of a thought structure having to do with our physical world, and that we just get more fluid in our mind and we let go more so that we go beyond these patterns. And then we reach other patterns. There's patterns within patterns. It's a vast subject. And there's so much to notice and so much to learn about these all sorts of patterns. I'm mainly keying into a particular pattern that I'm mentioning can hold us back to a certain extent. A real example of where this pattern comes into play and how we notice how limiting it can be is, for instance, in our meditation practice. Uh, Through meditation, which I have mentioned in various ways in other videos and will continue to talk about, and this also applies to mindfulness practice, but especially meditation practice, where we're really quieting down the mind. We're focusing on a particular chakra, one of the three main chakras, for instance, navel center, heart center, and third eye. Um, as our thoughts are slowing down, thoughts eventually can stop on their own. It depends on how much we're working our practice. But as we go deeper, we notice subtle energies there, a subtle type of flow. It's very noticeable after a while. And this flow can take us this as we slow down thought, as we access more energy in our deeper being, we notice there are types of tracks or pathways that takes us deeper into our being, into the higher dimensions, for instance, because the three chakras I mentioned are all associated with the higher dimensions, actually the causal dimensions, which are the formless, which is quite deep. It takes a while to be able to access that, but it's very exciting and something to each of us most certainly has a shot at. And I'm sure people out there, of course, have made much inroads into that. It depends on each of our own individual practice. But enabled to do that and be able to notice the inner flow and actually then get into that flow and trust that, where it takes us somewhere to interesting kinds of discoveries and understandings and deeper kind of knowledge and so much energy and light and brightness and happiness that are associated actually by going deeper into the higher dimensions, the radiant spheres. It's a matter, once again, of staying calm enough to be able to do that after a while. And it's really not a doing. It's a more of a being drawn into it. It's very much having to do with staying very calm and letting go, which I've mentioned in other videos. So once we access that type of energy deeper in our being, deeper into these higher dimensions, that type of energy and light and brightness, when it's shined into these patterns that we're looking at, it helps neutralize the pattern. It helps kind of break it up and kind of dissolve it to a certain extent. It's a big subject. And for now, I wanted to just present this and not go too crazy with it. But we'll talk more about these patterns, samskaras, and how to unbind ourselves from the samskara, the negative samskaras especially, the limiting type of samskaras, and can go way back into different aspects of our life, let alone, other types of incarnations that we might have had. It depends. It depends. I have noticed something about some very deep types of samskaras that I have addressed in my own personal life, and I'm excited to say and know from direct experience that these patterns can definitely break up and be neutralized to a large extent. It takes a while to actually completely neutralize these patterns. At least from what I've noticed, is a work in progress for me. So at least I brought up a few things that tie into these patterns. We'll go into pattern recognition and pattern matching in other videos. But I think I feel good that at least I took an attempt at this, which is not easy. And I have thought about doing such a video for a while now. And I think some of what I was trying to say has come across. So I would guess that I will be doing other videos about this this subject of patterns, most certainly, and samskaras. and more involved in how to unbind ourselves or neutralize these types of patterns that are holding us back. Well, thank you for paying attention, and have a have a great time with your practice. Thank you.